Hello everybody, welcome to NLC Division 2 playoffs. We're back with another massive matchup on the road to finals. Viper and MTES coming at you once again for this matchup between Lightside and Fløng. Winner will be taking on Natives in the lower bracket final. Loser goes home.
Loser thus goes home, Viper, and we were talking a bit before the cast, and obviously it's like kind of the Swedish versus the Danes. Obviously, you're not supposed to be biased as a caster, right? But no one can really blame me if I am today, just a tiny bit. Lundqvist has the experience in Svene. This guy is even older than me. That's absolutely crazy. I didn't think that was possible to still be in esports at that age, but he's insane, and it's just gonna be so fun to watch, man. I'm ready. Sweden versus Denmark. This is always gonna be a bonkers matchup.
It's going to be crazy. Let's have a quick look at where these two teams finished last season, just so we can get some context. I see Fløng finishing 4th, 10 and 8. Didn't have the best second half to last season, but picked it up a little bit towards the end. And then Lightside 7 and 11, 3 wins less than their opponents today, and had a abhorrent end to the season. Must be said, only winning 2 in their last 9. But let's have a look at how they did in playoffs, because things were markedly different as we moved through the bracket. As you can see, Lightside taking out rate 3-0 in the first game of round 1, and then Fløng getting themselves a very competent win over Lucent, but it was a 3-2. It took them 2-5 games, which was a very exciting series. And of course, just to remind you what happened if you've already, if you missed our Tuesday game, Monster Rugby Gaming 3-2 over Natives in a cracking series.
Yeah, honestly, man, that was a banger. I hope we can expect kind of similar today. I think today's series is going to be a bit more crazy. We have Fløng once again. These guys, they are kind of flexing picks everywhere. I saw they were even playing Yasuo bot in some of their games, and this is not something I've been seeing for quite some time. So I'm just interested to get into this draft, man, and see what they're going to cook up. I also know that Svene played Ilawi once, and if he doesn't pick it today, I'm going to be very disappointed. But I do think, though, that I am choking, and that's okay. But we're gonna get into the draft shortly, right? In a couple of minutes. So honestly, I'm just stoked to get into the champ select already. Yeah.
It's going to be a really, really great series. I can already feel it. I'm not necessarily expecting it to go 5 games, just on the two teams' performances throughout this split. Playoffs has thrown me through a loop because Lightside had such a poor end to the season. And it was bizarre in that they had 5 players. They went in second half of the season. They decided to make a change in the marksman position. Sena out, Sadie in. And then fortunes improved for exactly 1 game against the bottom ranked team in the league. And then things got worse again. But then they come in against Rate, who had been pretty interesting to watch throughout the entirety of the season, had found themselves in that top 4 confidently so. And then just to blow them out of the water super quickly, 3-0, no nonsense. It does make me question if Lightside if they had some information on Rate that we didn't know about, if they were just very well prepped for that specific matchup, and if they're going to be able to repeat it today. Because Fløng, we talked at the end to Camara from Monster, and we were saying, who would you like to face the most? And he was saying, Fløng is the team we'd like to face the least, probably, because they just pull out so many random things and look really good against Lucent in the games that they won. So 2 teams that we maybe don't have the same expectations we had for Munster and Natives going into that series on Tuesday. But hey, if they're both going to step up the way they have in playoffs and at the end of the season so far, then we could be in for a really cracking match.
And that's where I just think it's going to be so exciting, right? Because again, Fløng, with all these flex picks, that's just another strength that you can have, especially like in a best of 5 that just shines. In a best of 1, it's a bit more random. Of course, you can get away with some, just a random pick. You can just win the game by that. But in a best of 5, they actually keep there to flex these picks. And then maybe forcing Lundqvist to like completely either just ban away these champs or like completely make a new draft. Then it's going to be hard for them. On the other side, sometimes replacing a player, even if it's going bad in the regular season, sometimes I can actually be like kind of a playoff buff. Believe it or not, doesn't even have to be that you replace the player that you replace with like a completely better one, right? It's just about kind of the atmosphere in the team, bringing in something new. And I think maybe that's where Lundqvist were able to step up last week, and I hope they're going to be able to do so again, because as you said, I think Fløng has kind of the edge, so it's up to Lundqvist to be on top today.
It's on them to kind of step up and prove us wrong as a community, I guess, because the Lightside snuck into playoffs. It was very much a case of there's head-to-heads that go their way just about. There were multiple head-to-heads, so it worked out in the end. They managed to get there rather than London United or Domino. And then they came in and they smashed Raid. Whether they can come in and smash Fløng, I think that's a much harder task. Even though Raid finished higher than Fløng did in the regular season, I think that the ability for Fløng to adapt and change and organize themselves in a best of series is probably going to be better than what we saw from Raid in that series, who didn't really ever have a solution to what was being thrown at them. They tried to play Zarya every game. That didn't really work. Like, they were... I think Fløng are just going to have the ability to mix things up. As you said, they like to go for something a little bit stranger, potentially, and in a best of one, that can be enough to win you the series, or just to win you the one game. But hey, if they come in game 5, game 3 with a Riven, a Lee Sin, a Vayne, like they did against Lucent, then suddenly you're thinking, right, well, we've got to solve this solution, because if you lose 2 games in a best of 5, every game becomes a best of 1.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's and that's where, although I think that Fløng has the edge, that's also where the experience from these guys in Lundqvist. We have Sven on the top. This guy again, he's just really old. I'm not gonna say it one more time, but he's like he's still just popping off, kind of. I know you mentioned that we talked a bit before the cast, and Sven, I did not have the best split personally, but in a best of 5 with Sven and with Touch, these guys have played for so long. Maybe that could have they could bring the experience and actually be sure to like stand on top of Fløng. Again, it's gonna be such a crazy series. We got spoiled 2 days ago by Prune with the going to the Silver Scrapes to the 5th game. I'm not sure what's gonna be. This could just be a stomp for Fløng, right? As you mentioned, maybe Lundqvist is just, they all woke up today feeling like 5 fakers and they just completely stomp Fløng. We have no clue. But now we're in draft and we see Volibear again being the first ban for Fløng. This champ has not been, we have not seen this pick yet so far in at least the games that we have been casting this last week. Cassio ban though, that's a strange one. I did not expect that one.
Errol is a very strong Cassio player. It's something that you have to give respect over to. I don't know whether it's necessarily something you can ban for an entire series, like we saw in the Monster Native series, where Volibear was banned every game, and Zvictor is a really great Volibear player, so I respect that one from Fløng very greatly. Whether they're going to ban away the Jinx or give that one over to Sadie, they're actually going to take away the Ahri from Faddy P, so it is going to be available if they want to go for that Jinx first pick. Obviously, Guff loves himself a Jhin, loves himself an Aphelios, so could be looking for that response. But there are some other picks across the map that are powerful and available as well. I'm looking certainly towards that jungle, but it will be the Jinx that's going to be prioritized.
Yeah, and we have just seen this champ we talked to Joppa, who unfortunately lost that final game in the best of 5 series against Monster Rugby, but he was mentioning how there are so many different teams that they prioritize really differently. They think that Jinx is really strong, which I completely agree with. I think it's it's one of the strongest champ in the game, which just proves this, like every single team is kind of his first pick it whenever it's open. This does leave though, as you mentioned, the Hecarim is still open, not going to be able to pair it up with the Karma though, so they're going to go for the Viego as their first pick.
Yeah, it was something we saw banned all of last series, and they're going to get the Zeri as well. So giving themselves 2 really strong AD options in bot lane for Zeri, unless they want to do something absolutely bizarre. But the Viego could potentially see play in a solo lane. It's quite unlikely, and the Hecarim will likely be the response in the jungle.
No, for sure. I think this is good for Guffe, because this today or yesterday rather, I think there was a patch came out and they nerfed Zeri. This champ is absolutely gutted, let me tell you. I haven't been able to win on this champ ever since the patch came out. It's completely unplayable. You cannot build the same items anymore. You kind of have to go crit, but again, we're not in the same patch right now, so Guffe will still be able to abuse Zeri, which is good. We see the Nautilus coming in hot, which is both a good pick against Zeri and Viego. Just like a point-click CC is really good. I would expect Rotibenge to like lock something like either the Rakan or even the Leona, which is really good against all the 3 champs that are on Lundqvist's side right now. But just something that can engage with. I assume that they're just gonna match support, right? Which they are. This gives so many options because now they're kind of matching all the roles, and now Fløng can decide what they want to do. Do they want to ban out mid picks and just blind pick a mid on 4 to make sure that Errol has a good matchup, and then they save the counter pick for Vangsted, or do they just ban out tops? They maybe pick Gnar on 4, who knows? So it's up to Fløng now to like decide what they want to play for on this red side.
I mean, going for something like the Orianna or the Victor, something that Errol's played quite a lot, and giving him that comfort. He is very versatile, so we've seen stuff like Tryndamere mid from Errol this season, which is don't know why you'd do that, but okay. And actually, Lightside don't know why he's doing it either, because they're banning it away. But just denying that one from him and saying, let's just go for the Orion, let's go for something safe, and then Lightside have to get counterpicked in the top lane could be an option, with Vankstead being the crazy borderline psychopath top laner that we've all come to know and love this season. We're playing so many strong picks. We saw them hovering stuff like the River and the Camille, which he's had great times on. Thank you, Fløng. We appreciate you for banning the Vigar. And I think that will just go towards picking mid, going towards a top counter pick. But I've been wrong many times before.
Yeah, I mean, I think we cannot really decide anything in this draft viper. We're getting surprised by the day. I was trying to call picks right and left in the last cast. That did not work out at all. They just keep surprising us. As you mentioned, this league is kind of like you have like the 4 standard picks and then 1 or 2 really crazy ones. So maybe Vankstead in this game will stand for that. We will see, but 2 mid lane bans, which just assume as you were saying, right? Maybe we'll just see a control mage picked up here for Herald and saving that crucial last pick for Vankstead. We will see the Azir actually, which I'm quite surprised. I thought we were gonna see, as you mentioned, the Victor is banned out, but maybe an Orianna or something like this. But Azir is really solid, will dish out a lot of damage, scaling really well. Really good pick.
I like this as well because it gives a bit of disengage to champions like Zeri, who maybe need a bit more support in that regard in terms of defensive. And Errol, we've seen him play Azir relatively recently, so it's something that he is well versed on, if nothing else. And it's going to be going up against a Syndra, so that's going to be the lock-in against the Azir, which is a matchup we saw quite a lot of a few patches. I want to say last year, it was one of the premium matchups mid. Was the Syndra into Azir when Corki, I think it was just after Corki got a little bit hit, so he couldn't be the opportunity. But now we're going to see what's going to be taken topside by Lightside. And of course, the Scion, we saw it a lot in our last series, and it's going to be locked in again.
Could just, because you talked a lot about Vankstead's stories as well. I mean, he has like an ocean to pick from right now, right? But also, like, if he just wants to go for a split push, like right now they have drafted like kind of heavily Fløng for team fight, right? So he could just decide to match something with that. But he could also go for stuff like the Fiora. No one can really match him on the side. But with the Silas ban actually coming in, could this be my fight? This pick is bonkers actually against the Syndra Energy. It's gonna be the Loki from Vankstead. Wow. Okay, we're gonna have a lot of team fights this game, Viper, and I'm excited.
I mean, these 2 comps are built around wanting to fight 5v5, and the Malphite final pickup, I was scratching my head for a second because I was like, Malphite into Sard isn't that exciting. You've got counter picks. You don't want to go for like the Darius or maybe going for something that could, but like the Urgot we saw doing so much work as well. But I looked at the rest of the Lightside comp and I was like, yeah, you've got Jinx and Syndra as your 2 carries, and Vankstead is going to, assuming that they're not standing on top of each other because Lightside are good at League of Legends, Vankstead's going to be able to start each team fight by removing one of them from the game.
And that's just the crucial thing, right? Because what does Vego want? He just wants someone to die in the instant of the fight. He just gets 1 reset and then the fight is already kind of over. So I'm looking here, if both teams are ahead, I mean, at the same type of gold, once the mid game hits, it's really up to Lundqvist to like find picks with the Syndra stun, with the Nautilus hook before Fløng can manage to get like a setup. And it's going to be really hard for both teams, I think, to face check one another. So really just crucial that Lundqvist, if they're going to contest an objective, they're there first. They don't let Malphite have player on the vision, player on the fog, and as you said, right, if he hits an ulti onto one of the carries, probably there is that.
Yeah, and they've got so much ability to, if they want to pull the trigger with Vankstead on the Malphite to catch one of the carries, there is a lot of follow-up for that. But also, if they want to go for the more high roll, you can go with the Rakan engage first, which he's a little bit more squishy. But if you can hit that ultimate on a couple of people, it's going to bring them together, and then Vankstead's going to be able to hit more than 1 target. So if you want to go for that slightly higher risk, higher reward play, they can do. And they've got loads of damage as well. They've got the Zeri, who's going to be sitting on the back line, free firing and doing absolutely tons of work. They've got the Azir, who can do the same thing as Zeri, just sitting back at a safe distance and putting soldiers into the mix. But they've also got a decent amount of disengage. So if they decide, hey, things have gone wrong on this engage, well, Vankstead's dead at that point, but he's Malphite, so he has exactly 1.5 buttons he needs to press to make his life worthwhile. He hits ult, and then he hits the E on the Jinx, and then he's like, I can die now, this is whatever. Yeah. But everyone else is kind of, you've got the Azir ultimate, put up the wall, and then just nope out of there. So very, very excited to see how they play these team fights. But on the other side, Nautilus and Scion, they're going to be a bit of a difficult front line to break down. So Fløng are going to have their work cut out for them doing just that. But we're on to the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. First game of the evening here on the NLC Division 2. We've got Lightside on the blue side, Fløng on the red. best of 5 winner will be taking on natives next week. A loser will be going home I say empty-handed. They'll be going home placing 4th in the tournament, which will give you some nice promotion points for next split.
Yeah, once again, we have a bit of a slight pause, but that's just gonna be a bait for us classes again. We were thinking we were gonna go see our pretty faces again, but not. So you guys are lucky at home. What I wanna talk about a bit though is
unlucky.
yeah, okay, fair enough, Viper. What you want when you play Hecarim is at least like one, preferably 2 lanes with Prio, and this is what Syndra brings in the early. She gets Prio in like almost every single matchup. Same for Jinx. So this Hecarim is just gonna be really just being chilling in the early stage of the game. He's gonna be able to clear to pretty much wherever he likes. I don't know if Sion gets the push into the Malphite, but for sure, Victor is just going to be pathing towards bot, play around this mid and bot side. I would not be surprised to see if they even maybe go for a Shiki invade onto Shaft this blue buff. Okay. But he's going to be able to, again, they're both going to be full clearing towards bot, so could be an angle for Victor, but I've watched him in past competitions in the Swedish league, etc. He was really fond of actually trying to do stuff early, even though his champ might not be the best for it. Hecarim, once again, just wants to kind of chill, get his full clear going, get to level 6 and then start to look for stuff. But I think using your priors, regardless of what pick you have, is just smart. So I hope he's gonna make it work of this somehow.
That's just really moving forward to try and get something going and just zoning as much as he possibly can down on the bot side. But let's see up top, Lundqvist versus Sveni. It's a tag matchup, so we won't be checking in on them anytime soon. But now the level 2 was got by Lightside, who have been playing with that experience lead very, very well, just waiting for the crucial moment. Our observer is going to keep getting baited up on this top side. It's Lundqvist versus Sveni, so you'd think that it'll be an action-packed lane, actually in the mid lanes where the action is, and Fatty P gets a really nice scan of the week to keep himself alive. But in the bot side, Sadie's in trouble, has to dive away, but so does both members of Fløng.
Yeah, really it's an action-packed early game once again. Shafty actually decides to flash onto Fatty P, onto the mid lane before he goes to his bot side. At the same time, Lundqvist just really fist fighting on the bot side as well. Goofy forced the flash. Sadie still has both summers up, so he's gonna be really happy about that. Victor now just finishing his full clear as well. Shafty actually is not done. He's gonna go for the crab before even going to the buff, which I think this could just be, like, once again, could just be an invade onto Shafty's blue buff.
And Fløng have been shoved in, but it looks like Victor's more interested in potentially moving towards that mid lane. Meanwhile, top lane still exists. Just to remind you, Vax's actually a little bit low. Does need to be careful, especially when San will be able to go undying once he's taken out. But Lightside, all the pressure in the world, which is kind of what we were expecting to see. But it looks like it's not going to turn into an invader. Shafty is able to pick up his blue buff. Yeah, Shafty obviously really happy about that. Now he was able to force Syndra's flash in mid, which is honestly just really crucial if you want to, because now Arrow, like, once again, he has the flash still up, so he's gonna be able to maybe even contest the wave a bit, even before pre-6. So Fatty has to kind of respect a bit, and now bot phase also gonna just bounce. So far, obviously, Victor is really happy with clearing, but good also play from Fløng to make sure that they don't get invaded and just try to keep stabilize this game until level 6, where they can start to play with the Malphite ulti, the Viego ulti, Azir, you name it. He needs to be somewhat careful. Lundqvist's already gone for the reset, picked himself up a corrupting pot, and has gone for the Grasp Beyond Dying, which is what you tend to see in these tank matchups where Malphite's able to step in and just do some damage. But Errol's in a decent amount of trouble here, gonna have to flash away, but Victor moving forward, can't find it. Touch in the wings, was unable to make the roam work either. So that's okay though, not too much burnt from either side as Errol just loses his summoners. Yeah, Fløngstad honestly is managing his wave here as well, kind of well. Obviously Svenis is gonna be able to TP back, but I think both. Actually, Sven went for the cool. He knows this tank matchup is just gonna be about who can. I mean, obviously none of them are gonna die, even though Lundqvist was actually quite low in that early exchange. But I mean, obviously, just both top lanes gonna be just really chilling. Goofy now picked up the Sheen. This is kind of like a mini spike for Seri. I would expect them to actually be able to contest the wave a bit more now, and maybe even look to trade onto Sadie and touch. Jinx once again has the boots. Actually, oof, it's gonna be a close one. But honestly, we all know that Jinx still is just this prior machine that does not. Oh, needs to be careful. Steps back in for first blood. Sveni. What? Huh?
I mean, that's just my bad as well. That's just a cost to curse. These tanks, I said they were just gonna be chilling, but Vangstead actually gets. He doesn't get one tap, but it's just so weird. Sven was like almost full HP, bought the Kull, did not intend to like be winning lane at all, but just crushes Vangstead there and gets the first blood.
I am fascinated by the decision making there from Vangstead to step back in. We're going to be able to get a replay of this, so we'll be able to talk it through as the first dragon should be taken pretty uncontested by Lightside. But Vangstead, he has so many opportunities to decide against this play, but he just doesn't.
He just went back for the Q poke as well, thinking for sure he's not gonna die, but yeah, he just disrespects Sven there, honestly. And we talked about before the call as well how Vangstead is like one of the strong points for Fløng, right, with his counter picks. But maybe now, since he picked this, he was kind of defaulted to like a tank matchup, and maybe this is where Sven really shines. We don't see the Darius, we don't see the Fiora onto Vangstead, and maybe this is where just the experience comes in from Sven. He just knows he's gonna have a great time this game.
And now that he's got that first kill, he's going to feel a little bit more comfortable, picks up the pickaxe, and should be able to do a little bit more to Vangstead, who is still without a Barbie Cinder, so wave clear for the Malphite is not going to be very fun, at least for the next few minutes. He's already roaming towards mid, though. He has got level 6, so that kill button is available onto Fatty P, but isn't going to throw it down because Errol just isn't in a position to follow through. However, we're going to be seeing the Rift Herald up in a minute's time, so gaining some priority around the top area would be nice for both of these teams. He sees Victor moving down bot side just to clear out, and you've got to imagine clearing up towards that Rift Herald, and Viego's going to be in the neighborhood already. But Touch looking aggressive with his positioning, as we've seen from him all game, but isn't going to be able to find anything just yet.
And this is just what I love to see, right? We talked about how in the last cost how the early game really didn't matter at all, and maybe this will be the case in this series as well. We don't know, right? But it's just fun to see that none of the teams are just scared to fight. Even Vangstead, even though he got solo balled, right? And that's fine, it happens. But look at him now. He's still not scared to just fight and play his lane, not just standing at his tower. Actually wants to trade back.
I think he should be a little bit more scared about playing like this. So like, then I'll give it up because once again another trade. But Shafty gonna come in, gonna be spotted out on a ward just briefly. Ping's coming down onto him as well, so they know what's going on. He's starting up the Rift Herald. Errol has priority moving on down, but Garth needs to be a little bit careful, diving away a very long distance as Bengi will have to walk out. But level 6 is going to be gained on the bot lane. You can see Sadie just picking that one up as Shafty forced to back away from the Rift Herald with rotations from Svene, Fatty P, and Zvictor all moving towards this objective. And actually, they might be the ones who are able to start it up and secure it.
Yeah, it's really hard to start his Herald by Shafty. I think his initial plan was good. If they don't have vision on his Herald, maybe he can just take it for free. But they had a pink ward there. They were ready for it. And now with his prior lane, both in top and mid, they're just gonna be able to secure this for free. It doesn't look like Fløng is gonna be able to contest it. And I mean, now they like have kind of like an ocean just to decide. Like, do they actually wanna put this on top? We don't expect this, right? But they're probably gonna be towards the mid or the bot side that this Herald is gonna go down. But maybe they just think that, hey, Sven got a solo kill, maybe we just put it top, he's gonna go hull breaker, he's just gonna split push towards the victory. But I would be surprised if it goes to top.
That would be an interesting decision. Whether they decide going that direction is yet to be seen, but Victor has a Jinx and a Syndra, so you've got to imagine that the investment is probably better placed there. I would like to see it go down the bot lane into the Jinx, because it's quite an even bot lane with Jinx being slightly behind, so just allowing Sadie to get some gold and get some acceleration down is going to be really, really crucial for them moving into the mid and late game, where suddenly the Jinx having a bit more gold, maybe an extra item, could be super crucial. But we're coming up towards the 10-minute mark, and Lightside are just winning out slightly based on that first blood and a bit of a jungle diff in terms of CS, as Vangstead is fairly low, has ultimate, but Victor's going to be diving on through, and simple as that.
Wow, they didn't even have to use the Victor's ultimate, but dropped the Bengi.
Coming through though, getting the charm. Errol needs to be careful, puts on the Empress Divine, but it's going to be knocked up in the air. Bengi giving a shield, but Shafty moving forward, trying to get onto Touch. Will be able to do so. Will he be able to get through the shield with the ultimate? No, he won't, but one more stab will be enough, as Shafty secures that one. Can't step up towards the Nautilus Ghost though, as Fatty P gets a scan of the weekend. Hey, that Rift Herald's going to drop directly into Scion's lap. Cast the curse again, as Svene picks up first tower.
That's crazy. I mean, I assume they just want to put it somewhere to just make sure that they open the map as quickly as possible. I do think, though, in a situation like this where they already killed Vangsted, this might look bad, right? They're now 2k gold ahead. But actually, I think Vangsted is quite happy about this because now he's actually not scared. He's going
the ultimate towards the Scion. Svene does have flash available. Vangsted also has the summoner, but decides against using it. Robengi looking towards him, but won't be able to find him. You've got to imagine. But yeah, I mean, this is the ultimate question that we always have is, yeah, it's looking great for Lightside right now. However, how valuable is it to actually kill this Malphite?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. Honestly, I think in the early game, just getting gold on like any champ is good. This Sadie on Jinx is gonna be scaling freely, but what I wanted to come back to was, if you are stomping lane, usually you don't want to put the Herald instantly, because then now the lane phase on top is kind of over already. You see Sven already moving for this Drake. He's just hovering a bit. He's probably gonna go back and catch this upside, but now Vangsted actually gives him quite a bit of breathing room, because now he can just push in this wave. Then he knows that he's not gonna be able to lane against the Scion. He just goes somewhere else, try to force a fight maybe. His ultimate's not coming up yet, and then once Sven just crashes the wave that is gonna be so far away from him, this Vangsted doesn't have to be top now for like another minute until the wave crashes onto his tier 2. So I think actually taking the top tower this early is not the best strat. And as you said, once again, if Sadie were the one that would gotten the Herald, he would be like kind of snowballing. And we all know that this patch is like mostly about bot lane. If the AD carry can get ahead, probably he's gonna carry. So now putting so much resources into Svene, it's really up to him to use this Hullbreaker and keep getting resources.
I'm very excited that the curse has been broken around the dragons. 4 out of 5 mountains last series, but we're starting with an Infernal on the Rift for this game, so going to be getting some extra damage down there. But as you mentioned, no fast for Sadie in terms of gold. He has picked up most of the components of what will be a mythic, but with marksman it's always hard to tell when it's just the noon quiver being secured. I imagine that it will probably we see Gale Force or Kraken Slayer this game, do you think?
Okay, so I think that because he has the Hecarim and the Scion, I would always go for Kraken Slayer here, because he doesn't really need active. I would assume if he is positioning well, then he basically just needs to flash the Malphite ulti, and then he can DPS freely. And he also has the front line to play around. So I would go Kraken Slayer here, but I would understand the logic of going Gale Force when you have this Rakan, this Azir, this Malphite. I'm not going to talk too much now though, because we might see a fight in bot.
Oh, they're going for the dive. They get on to touch. A decent amount of damage coming on through, but Victor's in the wings. The ultimate from Guff should do a bit of damage, but he's caught up with the Dredge Line Shafty. Gonna be hit with a Super Mega Death Rocket. Now the teleport coming through. The reset is there. Robengi is shot down. Double kill for Sadie. And that's the acceleration that the Jinx needed.
Yeah, this is just Sadie being completely happy. He didn't get the Herald. He was a bit sad about that, but now he gets the double kill. They get so many summers as well. Goofy has to back off from this. Shafty has to use his flash as well. Sven is not done though. What? Okay, he's done.
I don't know about that one, but we're gonna see. Zeri just be like, nah, I'm just gonna go over this wall, but that could be another tower going the way of Lightside, and just because it's going down slowly now doesn't mean it will be in 10 seconds time. It's just gonna be a couple of places, Sadie moving on out. But hey, that lead, suddenly it just doubled, and the kills both went into the right place.
Yeah, Sven actually just TPs down as well. I think the TP off, I mean, obviously was not necessary. He also decides to just overkill his guys out of the TP. I might as well try something. And tries to ulti onto Goofy with no sums, but obviously that's, I mean, I like an optimist, right? But that was a bit too optimistic for Sven. But once again, as you mentioned, just the gold going onto the right, into the right pocket of this Jinx, and it just becomes so much harder now for Fløng. They are the 2 Drakes down, which we didn't really see a lot of prioritization onto the Drakes in the last series that we casted. But since these 2 teams, both they want to team fight so badly, getting these 2 Drakes so early for Lundqvist is so crucial. They like Fløng, even though they're behind the goal, they're going to be forced to contest this Infernal Soul.
Robengi is standing a little bit too far forward. Touches in that bush, but they just don't know. They're going to be diving on forward. Bisharp is going to get his stun revoked by the Nautilus. He's going to take a decent amount of damage as well, as members of Lightside are collapsing in. But Arrow being there is enough to dissuade them from going full in on the fight. Lightside will control the river though, and with the second Herald just spawning up, they're going to try and take it down.
Yeah, and it's just hard for the Malphite to play as well now right now. Like almost every single, I mean, both the carries at least on the side of Lundqvist has their flash up. It's gonna be hard to just, you see these 2 pinkers as well, it's so crucial. They're just gonna be forced to go onto the bot side. And this is one thing as well where you know already that you're behind. Fløng, they for sure want to get this Herald right, but they should know already that this is not going to be possible. They don't have mid prio, they don't have top prio. It's just better call to go there for the bot side and to cross map. But in the same time as Lundqvist was taking the Herald, Sadie actually has got the bot tower as well. So Lundqvist is getting a lot of gold into their pockets right now, and Fløng not really been able to counter with our cross map.
Well, that's the problem, because if Fløng aren't going to be able to grab anything, even if it's just a consolation prize, then this game could get out of control very, very quickly. Two teams that are built up towards that team fight. There's not really amazing split push options, especially from Fløng. They really don't have anyone that they want to send to a side lane. Svenne, of course, with the Hull Breaker on Sion is serviceable as a split pusher. You wouldn't say that he's top tier, but it's definitely someone who could take down some towers with the Demolish. But I'm a little bit worried for Lightside as we move towards the mid stages of this game. Guff is just going to hang back towards the pregnant death brush that we see up on that try, but it looks like Sven's not going to take the bait. And in the mid lane, they're just going to be pushing forward with that Rift Health that they're going to just drop.
And this is so crucial. I look Fløng where they are right now. They have the tempo. They are on the flank currently. Maybe they could look to catch a carry out here. And if they get the third Drake, then it's just for sure winnable for them. It's going to be a fight here, 100%.
Lightside are the ones who have started up. Mr. Fløng over the back of the pit. They're going to move in Shafty very, very early, but puts himself invisible. Royal is going to be cut out by those Chombers. Now Fløng are the ones that are trying to take down this dragon as quickly as possible. Svenne can't find the knockup, but moves forward. There's Dredgeline directly on top of the dragon. It's going to be secured by Shafty on the Viego as the fight breaks out in earnest. Royal gets a nice knockup on Fatty B, who has to dash away. Mercedes is untouched, gets excited with the first kill of the fight. Royal is going to be able to get away this time, though. As Errol goes in, the Emperor's Divide is big. And remember, there's a Zeri on the side who's putting in a decent amount of work, but both marksmen are doing so much. Sadie goes down as Victor diving forward, looking for Khan, looking for Errol, but can't find either as he gets deleted. Double kill for the Azir. As looking for two more, looking for Svenne, but the shield might be too much. Zeri skates away. Opportunity for the ace there, but Fløng take the objective and the fight.
Huge win there for Fløng. They were really bleeding. They were bleeding on every single lane. They were not being able to get pry anywhere. But once again, which we talked about in the last cast as well, tempo in League of Legends is so important. They were 5k behind in gold, but they have the tempo. They get to decide what fight they want to take. And they know that they have to at least contest one Drake. They make it happen. They get the perfect flank. Even though Vangsted did not manage to hit the ulti onto Sadie, who flashed away. But just perfect execution, honestly, from Fløng. They're now back into the game, and this game is for sure not over yet.
Absolutely not. We're going to be able to see what happened in that dragon fight with a replay in a very short moment. Thank you very much, Reed. But talk us through what's happening here.
So basically, again, once Fløng just has the tempo, right? They have to respect this Rottebanger that's on the flank. And they just blew so many tools onto Shafty, who smites perfectly, but they already blew kind of all the resources onto Shafty, and now they just have to kind of kite back. And this is where both Goofy and Errol, they shine, right? They can keep chasing them. There's no really a way for them to get out, and the fight's just collapsing for Lundqvist. I think if they manage to take out one carry and then they play it slow, they play with the Jinx reset, then I think they're going to be able to win. But I think in that fight especially, Sadie flashed in at the same time that Azir pulled his ultimate, so he just got kind of blown up there, which is it's not really a mistake that you can make in this type of fight, because you are the carry, you have so much gold onto you. It's just your job to flash the Malphite ulti and then play safe. Kill the first target, you don't have to go deep, play with your team. I think Sadie got a bit too excited there, actually. I think he thought that this fight was just won, we're so ahead, we're gonna win. But Goofy and Errol on these carries, they did so much damage that fight. Now we're back almost even.
Now, Gavin needs to be careful because he's got a side on top of him, but wasn't able to catch him out. But the flash taken down from the Zeri is nice, and Sadie being able to secure. Okay. That's a kill on the bot side for Fløng, so they lose out on their red buff, but will gain the life of Fatty P on the side lane. But now Lightside are going to look to try and grab themselves a tower. And Vaxen on the side, though. The people at Clump, they're going to be caught. 3 of them knocked up, and Rollmaking is going to be able to follow through. Gets the knock up, gets the charm, touches low, but doesn't go down. Victor picks up the first kill to fight onto the Ricardo. Is a little bit too squishy to continue this one, as Guffey is dancing back and forth, trying to get damage. But Victor is going to cut off the retreat from Bankstead, but will fall. Guffey's there, but Shafty and Errol are moving forward now. These are big damage dealers as they take down Svenne. They take down Touch. The stun onto Sam to stop him following. Errol moves forward towards the Baron. Guff not going to be able to get over this Chombers. It's going to be slowed up, and the teleport from Fatty P will secure the life of the marksman, but Fløng get the collapse and get the turn.
Lundqvist just getting really stressed there. Fatty P managed to get caught on the bot side, which makes Lundqvist think, oh guys, we have to do something on the other side of the map. They try to hit mid-tower, mid-tier 2. This is like a crucial mistake that I see so many people do, and I do this myself. It's really risky to just go walk up and hit tier 2, especially when you don't have any vision. I think Errol even they had so many flanked TP wards behind them as well. And we're gonna see the replay. I think Lundqvist just hits a crucial ultimate there as well, but I just feel like Lundqvist, once they lost that Drake fight, they're playing so stressed. They're just not really making a plan anymore. Fatty P is alone on the side, not getting covered on this Syndra. He just gets caught. And then, as I was mentioning, Lundqvist, they're doing like kind of what they have to do. They're clearing out top side. But now they think, okay, guys, we actually have to make something happen or we're gonna lose a lot of resources. But I think here the right play is just to go catch sides. You can't really hit this here too. They don't see Vangstead. And I mean, this is just what Guffey likes the most, right? No one can hit him in this fight. He's standing with his tower. Vangstead just gets a perfect ultimate, honestly. And once Guffey gets one kill, he can just keep chasing. I think Lundqvist just don't have the damage to kill them.
Yeah, and it looks okay for a second because they do get the first 2 kills of the fight, but then Guffey's there, and then you look at Lightside, Touch and Sadie so low they cannot continue. Svenne goes down, and Errol's not even really notably involved in any of this, but he does force out a little bit towards the end there. But now Fløng have taken the last couple of engagements. We've got Dragon up in 20 seconds. This will be their second Infernal, and you've got to imagine that that will be a point of contestation? I don't know if that's a word, but we're gonna run with it. We'll make it work. It's how casting is. But
I like that. I think one con about this, I'm not gonna talk too much because there might be an engage coming in there, but Svenne now, he has the hull breaker, right? But he's forced the group because of these dragons and because of this teamfight comp. And this item is not really doing anything for him right now. We also see Vangstead is he's just completely even in CS. He doesn't care that he died 4 times already. As he mentioned before he went into the game, his only job is to hit an ultimate, an E. Now they're gonna get the Drake. It's gonna be a fight.
The fight is coming. There's Svenne's on the backline, find his way onto Gov. That's gonna be the dredge line as well. But the Zeri's just gonna survive through all of it. Victor takes out Vangstead, so 1 tank goes down, but I think they're gonna trade tank for tank as San just he's very dead, basically. Yeah. Fløng are just gonna be able to shoot him down. It's a kill for Zeri, but it looks like Lightside are gonna move up towards the Baron area. Don't think they're gonna go for the take, but it could be a bait.
Yeah, it could be. Sorry, that pink ward is just the MVP of the game, honestly. Not being able, I guess they have a ward into the pit as well. So going for the fight there is really risky, especially when Sad is not really full HP. I see Guffey just having a blast in these team fights. Like, no one is really able to catch him. They have the only really tool they have is the Nautilus hook and the ulti. Guffey can't. I mean, it's hard for them to catch him, and he can just dish out. Because he's so fed, he dishes out way more damage than Sad is able to do. And as you mentioned, it was like kind of a trade tank for tank, but in the end, Fløng just gets the second Drake of the game. And it just feels like they have the momentum right now. Like, there's still 1k goal lead down, right? But it feels like they're ahead by at least 3k by the way they're playing.
And that's something that we can't ignore. The fact that the tempo gained at exactly the right time for them, and now things are looking much, much clearer skies. But we've got the Baron up on the map. Both of these teams are starting to play around it. Worrying for Lightside, I guess, because 2 teams that are built towards team fighting, and where the team fights have been, it's been Fløng who have been the ones who have proven to be a little bit more effective in that regard. Need to be careful though, because Vangstead is a little bit overextended, not having anyone around damage dealer E in order to keep him healthy or to dissuade any follow-up. But it looks like Lightside are not interested in trying to crack through the big tin can that is Malphite this game. But do either of these teams have the ability to take a Baron, to rush it down fast enough to not have to take a fight before it, or are we just going to see a long extended Baron dance?
So I think for sure, right, since Guffey is this snowballed and Asir is also playing the Leandris this game, I think for sure if they just decide to let Asir push up this top side and then they just push mid as well as 4 and then they go and get vision, it's really hard for Lundqvist to actually contest it. It's so hard for them to face check without Svenne. And even with Svenne, when he has the hull breaker passive not activated when he's grouped, then it's gonna be rough for them. I think though that because there is like just the first game of the series as well, and the goal is kind of even, we might not just see Fløng do it yet. They might just decide, hey guys, we're still good in the game. We don't have to rush anything. We just play for the Drakes, and we're kind of Gucci, which is also good for Lundqvist, right? Because now right now, I was gonna say they were waiting for the IE on the Jinx, but it's actually already completed. So maybe this is like a sign for Lundqvist. Hey guys, now we're good in the game as well. And oh, that demolish proc is nutty.
It's quite nice that The Sun can just chip away on the side lane, but Errol doing a little bit more damage to that top tower. But Guz being caught out as the flash and cleanse over the wall, but it's going to be followed up onto. I think he's going to go down immediately, destroyed in the fight. Rob.Bengi's going to go for the re-engage, but he has no support. Shafty and Errol are split up, and it looks like Rakan will be able to dive out, but that's a big pick onto the Zeri. A nice shutdown going over as well. And looks like Lightside are going to move towards the Baron.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're gonna to start it, but they are gonna actually do it. This is gonna force Sven to group. You see both Fangsten and Sven has to group. It's gonna be another fighter. Goofy is down for 20 seconds. They just wanna bet a fight. I hope they don't wanna 50-50 this.
Yeah, it looks like they're just gonna be trying to stay a little bit healthy, but Touch takes some damage from those soldiers, and Lightside decide to peel away, even though Fløng, oh, they're going back, they're thinking about it, but this indecision could be costly. And looks like they will just be backing out in the end. Rob.Bengi needs to be careful. San rolling up on the top of your screen, looking towards the zip, but won't be able to find him as Rob.Bengi is running to the wind. But I think he's going to be the sacrificial lamb that's going to lose his life to keep the Baron down. Then it will be Rakan taken out, but it will only be Touch securing the kill.
Yeah, we see that Lundqvist, they just respect the smite maybe coming in for Shafty a lot, which is understandable, right? If you lose Nash at this stage of the game, it is really hard to come back. And Fløng plays it well. They don't go too deep, even though they didn't have the best vision. They just play it really safe. They played patiently and knowing that Lundqvist, obviously, if they are good, they don't want to start Nash and take a 50-50. That's not what you should be able to do, especially when you have the numbers advantage. But we see now that actually both Lundqvist actually has the tempo, and this time around onto the Drake. Vangsted is forced to go for this top side and catch the wave, and Wiley will have TP for the fight. Now it's up to Lundqvist to actually just push his mid wave, get control over the Drake, and make sure that Fløng cannot just phase check it without getting punished.
But Lightside are going to be moving down the river, as you mentioned, just going to try and grab themselves a dragon. Third of the game, it will be Soul Point for whoever secures this one, and Fløng a little bit slower to the punch, honestly. Shafty split up from the rest of the team, and with Dragon up in 5 seconds, not having anyone in river could be disastrous. Rob.Bengi takes a little bit as Vangsted takes so much more. Needs to be careful as tanking, but not attacking. Gets the double knock up onto 2 targets and will be looking to continue this fight. Fatty B goes so low, but survives for a second longer. Garth needs to dodge away from Zeni. Will be able to do so as Shafty on the side is trying to get the resets going, get himself started. Will be able to find one, finds another, and can look for the zap onto Victor taken down. Excitement from Errol as well, but it's just that simple for Fløng. They take the ace. They don't lose anyone, in fact, and can look to take the Dragon and the Baron.
It's a clean ace for Fløng. Errol is completely untouched that fight. He's just dishing out so much damage, while Lundqvist is just trying to kill the front line, that is Vangsted and Rob.Bengi. They don't care. Obviously, Vangsted does not care about his KDA. I think Errol did he almost did 10k damage in that fight. He completely one-tapped both Sadie and Fatty P. And as you mentioned, it's gonna be Soul Point for Fløng and the Nasher. And honestly, this game is just all about the team fights. They're just playing the team fights so much better. Look, Errol in this position. He's just completely untouched. There's so many tools on the front line, and Fløng can just hit for free.
And the fact is, Shafty on the back is doing a lot of work, because what we've seen in these fights so far is the engaged units going into the enemy team tend to just die. They get a lot of CC, but they fall. But Svene holds a lot of time, but Shafty and Errol found their way through him into the squishy underbelly and were able just to secure the 2v3 fight there. So now with Baron, now with 3 Infernals towards Soul. Fløng, how much are they looking to take off this Baron, do you think?
So I think if they wanted to, now they are so ahead that obviously diving is a risky business in League of Legends when you're ahead, because that's where you can throw, right? But I think they are so tanky. They have so much damage right now that they could look to do this. I think they would at least. I would be sad if I didn't get at least 2 inhibitors with this Nash as Fløng. Okay. But once again,
Vangsted going in for the dive, as you said. It's risky, but he takes a whole load of damage. Unleashed power as well. He goes low and is removed. The rest of Fløng could not get on top of him to support. But now a lot of damage is being returned. Guff on the side trying to get down the tower. Tower is gone, and this dive now became a whole lot easier. Gets the catch on the touch. He's taken out. It's a 1-for-1 extended as the inhibitor will fall. The base is cracked open 29 minutes in as Fløng move towards the top side.
So the good thing about this for Lundqvist, the happy thing is that both their sides were pushed. So it's really hard for Fløng to go for 2 inhibitors at the same push. But as you mentioned, they just dive. They don't care. They just go. They will just have this wave. Sven actually decides to TP to the bot side to try to get something in return. But I think this is just gonna be another signal for Fløng that they can just keep pushing and do whatever they want. And while they might not be able to get the second inhibitor that they wanted, Sven is actually looking to fight there. But I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, the ultimate coming out from Errol, and then the teleport coming in on the side as well. Means this is probably going to be a dead start with Vangsted
Yeah.
Jogging it in as fast as he possibly can. Errol's kind of low, but actually turns away to take down the wave instead, and is being beaten up by that minion wave. The ultimate comes through, but it doesn't do that much damage, and now you've got Victor here. Errol has no ultimate to disengage, has to go golden, dodging out the Super Mega Death Bomb as well, but does
Sven is still alive.
in kind. Vangstead, he's now up creek and a lot of enemies around him. He's drowning in a sea of Lightside. Guff's going to turn up though, flashing towards, but that's a really nice depth charge on to the Vangstead. He's going to be able to survive for the shield a second longer as he turns with Rombengi, and touch is going to go down. They turn towards Victor. Vangstead's still alive. No idea how he's managed that, but Svenny finds his way out. Shafty is looking towards the Jinx, but won't be able to find him. Will be just hanging around and will be able to help the rest of his team move towards this last tower outside of the base. But that was a very confusing series of events.
Yeah, that looked so promising at first for Lundqvist. I thought at first we thought both of us that Sven was just gonna go down, but Victor is there in time, manages to get the last dish of damage onto Errol, and once Errol is dead, obviously Vangstead does not have the damage to finish Svene, but then again, I mean, Goofy is he's just soft mobile on the map. He's so fast, he can join whatever fight he wants. He has the Black Cleaver now finished as well, so all the tanks are just melting from the side of Lundqvist. And honestly, man, the Goofy has just been playing so well this game. He's like everywhere he needs to be. He got caught once, which like actually could lead to Lundqvist's comeback. And I guess this is kind of what they need this for sure. They have to kill Goofy in the beginning of the fight, or it's just impossible for them to win at this point. We will see if they manage to do that in this next minute, because I mean, obviously they are forced to contest this next Drake, right? If Fløng gets this Drake uncontested, it's probably GG regardless. So I have to see now what Lundqvist decides to do. They are forced to push up this top side. Sven is gonna be there. He's not gonna have the TP, so he's gonna be forced to either this mid wave or the next mid. They are gonna be forced to contest, or it's gonna be impossible for them to get contest on this Drake.
With Baron being off, that's going to make contesting a little bit easier for Lightside, only losing one inhibitor. You said that you wanted to get two in this situation. Is one inhibitor fine?
I mean, yeah, I guess Fløng is just there, is happy with whatever they can get. They know that they're winning every single fight regardless, unless they somehow make a crucial mistake, which Goofy already knows. He knows that this fight's gonna be crucial, and he just picks up the stopwatch for it as well. And look how much confidence Fløng is playing with. They're not letting Lundqvist anything for free.
Vangstead is just looking for the ultimate. Sadie is giving so much respect, standing so far away. But remember, Vangstead will need some follow-up as Robben just going to dive away from the dredge line. And I'm just thinking, what's this Malphite going to do? Because he has to be near Zeri at all times, as Victor actually might be looking for an engage, but can't find anything. But it's going to be slowed up, and it's actually going to be the Hecarim that they engage on. But God's being caught out, has to go low. That's a lot of damage, and Rombengi is going to be deleted. So is Zeri. This could be the fight that Lightside craved, the one they needed, as Errol thinks he knows what's going on. Him and Shafty are running for the hills. They might actually try and start up the dragon, but they've been shadowed. Svene's there, Victor's there. They've already lost Vangstead. He didn't buy as much time as they thought he would, as Fløng are looking to take away the dragon. They will be able to skill themselves soul, and Errol gets over the pit. The ultimate comes out from Shafty as well, but will they survive? It's 5v2 as Fløng look to make the great escape, as Victor's following. He's very quick on 4 legs. As now Fløng are just trying to take away minion waves and looking potentially just to buy some time playing with their food, though Lightside maybe wants to get these death times a little bit out of sync. But Errol picks up one onto Batty B. Sharpie surviving a second longer, but won't be able to take down Victor. You've got to imagine, but on the side, Errol trying to get onto Svenny, won't be able to get the kill even with Infernal. That's the ace for Lightside. What can they gain?
Really good fight there, obviously, from Lundqvist. I think Vangstead made a crucial mistake there. He solo ulted the Hecarim, which is obviously what Lundqvist, that's kind of like the go button for them. There, you get the perfect engage onto Goofy. FIDP hits the stun. Goofy's cleanse was not up, and he just gets one shot. This is kind of what we talked about. If they can one shot Goofy in the beginning of the fight, which, don't get me wrong, it's really hard, they managed to win the fight. But once again, Fløng, Shafty and Errol makes a really crucial decision there to just go for it. They know the fight is lost. Just try to go for 50-50 on the Drake. They managed to get it, so despite Lundqvist winning the fight and getting momentum, it's still Fløng that gets the Infernal Soul, but now they're not scared. They just want to start the Nash.
Yeah, really, and it's going to be touches. They're going to be engaged on by Fløng. They've got members there, but they're missing out 2 crucial ones. The Baron going low, teleport coming on through. Vangstead finds his way on to Sadie, but no one's able to follow up just yet because Gov needs to stay safe, but he's going to look to try and get a damage on the multiple portal. Baron is going to be helping Fløng out for the time being. Vangstead stays alive for a second longer, but won't be able to get the kill on the Jinx, and now Gov needs to be careful. The Baron's fully reset though as Fløng stepping forward, but remember, it's so crucial. Lots of damage coming through. A nice double knockup, and a decent amount of damage. Fanny P goes, so does the other, but now it's Victor trying to get on top. Errol's there. The Emperor of Shurima arrives in the nick of time as Lightside lose 4. Sadie can't even recall as the divide comes on through to stop Sveni from getting on top of the Azir once more. And I think Guff's just going to go over the wall looking for the 1v1 against the Jinx. And you know, there's only one way that goes. Fløng get the ace, deny themselves the Baron. And you know what? They could look to end.
They're gonna go first to finish. They don't care about the Nasher. They got almost a clean ace. I know Vangsted and Rottebengi, they go down, but they did their work for sure. Vangsted just kind of melting Sad in that fight. Sad not being able to flash it, and this is gonna be not a quick 1-0 for Fløng, but what a honestly decisive one. It was kind of some hiccups every time Guffy got caught. It kind of gave Lundqvist the opportunity to come back, but they just clean this out. They get the fight going. They know they have the minions to go for it. They don't have to go Nash. They just ended the game there.
They had us in the first half, not gonna lie. But
yeah, they did.
I mean, after we got into the point where it's like, hey, team fighting is what this composition is built for. And yeah, you can say the same for Lightside as well. But Vangsted, they put him down so much early, but he's Malphite, so he didn't really care. They gained a decent amount on the top side, but when it came to fighting the team fights, Vangsted was more consistently able to break things up. And Rottebengi as well, must be said on the Rakan, had some really, really crucial engages alongside. So we talked about these two options for team fighting, and Fløng showed us that they could absolutely do both. We're going to jump to a short break now, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, it's going to be game number 2 in this best of 5 series. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a few minutes.